Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Kyle Carroll bringing you the Carroll's Corner MMA podcast. Tonight we have Kayla Weed, who was just on. I think we just had a malfunction or technical difficulties, so she just popped off. As soon as she comes back on, we'll get her back on here. But Kayla Weed will be fighting after a long time off. I got Excite Fight out in Washington State against Rose Fujinaka. On March 11th at 7 p.m. at the Muckleshot Casino. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in watching Kayla get back in there, definitely do so, as we're just waiting for her to come back. Let's see if we could see if the. Hold on one moment. Let's see what we got here. All right, so her computer got unplugged and died, so we'll just have to wait a couple minutes for it to get back on service. Good. No. So as soon as that plugs back in, but if you want to get some Carol's Corner MMA merchandise, definitely go to my Instagram and go on there. There's a link in the tree link. Click it, purchase a T-shirt to support the podcast. As we got another podcast going on tonight with Eddie Angelo, who'll be fighting this weekend as well. We had a few good fights over this weekend on Long Island, as that's where I'm based out of Long Island, New York. But I like to interview people from all over the country. I do a lot of amateur and early professionals, get those guys and women on the show, talk to them, learn about them. And then we have the pros everyone knows about, the UFC fighters, the Bellator fighters. So I try to do as many of those as I can. It's difficult during football season, as for those who know, I coach high school football, and it just becomes difficult sometimes to do it. But otherwise, I do as many as I can, get them on. If you know anyone who wants to do a podcast and hop on, send me an email, send me a message in my DMs on social media, or just text me if you want, if you have my phone number, and we'll get a fight going on. We did a couple of guys on Thursday night, a team from Rogers Ramirez's team, the Fight House, and we got I think we had 3 of those guys on there that competed. 2 competed on Saturday night. 1 competes on March 3rd in Atlantic City. So if you have anyone who wants to do it, hop on and do an interview. Let me know. I'm always down to do interviews. I also write from mymmanews.com. I haven't written too much lately for them, but I plan to turn that up a little bit more and get some more writing in for them as well. Eric Colwell is the owner of it. Does a phenomenal job. He does a lot of stuff for, I believe, Maverick MMA out in Pennsylvania. So, and then my buddy Sam, I've been doing the show with, where we do Friday nights, where we talk about who's fighting on the UFC cards. We're going to be bringing that back for the John Jones fight. It's just been tough this early going of the year, a lot going on. So, yeah, we're just looking forward to get that back on before the John Jones fight. Sam's a gambler, so you definitely don't want to miss that and see what he has to say in his picks. And tune in for the over-unders, where we think it's going to happen, the submissions, the knockouts, and it's fun. I don't really put much money down. It's usually $1 to $5 on a fight, but I've won a few parlays. I was 1 fight away from crushing it, on a $1 bet on for $2,200. So definitely worth it. Take our picks. I'm a huge wrestling fan, for those who know, not WWE. I haven't watched that since probably middle school, but I am a huge high school and college wrestling fan. So States I know is coming up for New York State. States is going on for Iowa. I saw Michigan, but New York, I believe, is coming up this weekend. So good luck to all those New York wrestlers in the high school level that are about to compete, representing your school, your county, everything else. I know Section 11 on Long Island, that Suffolk County crushed it for the last handful of years. But I know where I coach, we got a couple kids going on the Catholic League going to represent. So hopefully they crush it as well. Good luck to them. But as soon as Kayla gets on, we'll get going. And if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know or comment here. So, yeah, I want to know if anyone is watching. What you guys thought of the fights the other night? Um, I didn't to be honest. I didn't even get to watch them last night, but I'm going to watch them tonight and check them out and see. But Blanchfield coming up big again. I saw she won. I remember watching her when she took her first amateur fight for ACC, Aggressive Combat Sports, and here in Queens. I have the video on my YouTube channel. If you go to Carol's Corner MMA on the YouTube channel, type in Blanchfield, should come up. Check it out there. She's been a beast her whole career. She's going to continue being a beast. Getting a submission win over Andrade is impressive. So congrats to Erin Blanchfield as she takes home another victory in the main event. That's the first time she's been in a main event. I don't think she was supposed to be. I believe she was supposed to be like a co-main event. I forget which fight fell through, but she takes home the main event. So congrats to her, and I hope she got the $50,000 bonus for the submission. Which I don't know why she wouldn't if she didn't, but yeah. So let me know. I got some stickers right now up. If you want a sticker, comment, send me something. I'll show you what the sticker right now is. I got myself as a cartoon character, so if you want some stickers, let me know. And we got Kayla here. Kayla, how you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to training and fighting and everything else. Been off for a long time. You gave birth to a daughter. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How you doing overall?
I'm amazing. I'm doing great. I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm at the lightest I've ever been, so everything's going great.
Fantastic. You got a big fight coming up against Rose Fujinaka on March 11th at 7 p.m. at Muckleshot Casino for Excite Fight. Tell us what you expect in this fight out of yourself and out of your opponent.
I don't know a ton about her. I know she's been out for a while as well. I know she's more of a jiu-jitsu girl, but I just expect to come out and use my wrestling to dominate. So
Awesome. And tell us what it's been like. You're training, you're a fighter. You give birth, and then the journey back. What is it like to go through that journey? I'm sure it's difficult to go through that 9 months being pregnant, then the postpartum, everything that leads up to this. Tell us about it.
yeah, so actually I've been out even longer than that. I had two surgeries. I had
Well,
my
that's right. Your knee, yeah.
I had my knee reconstructed, and then I had my elbow reconstructed, and then I had my daughter, and then
Oh,
I came back. So, it's been a lot. I put a lot of work into my rehab and getting strong and strength and conditioning, and just really sticking to the basics and training a lot as much as I can.
have you learned anything? Have applied anything to training since being a mother?
Um, she comes with me all the time, so I always am thinking I have to be a role model now. Like my reactions, not quitting, being not that I would quit before, but I always think she's watching me. I want to make her proud, and I want her to be like, I want to be like my mom. I want to be tough. I want to be resilient, and that motivates me a lot.
Are you still training at the same gym?
I switched. My partner, he works in Seattle, so we moved to Buckley, and I train at Combat Sports and Fitness now.
Awesome. Tell us about some of the teammates you have and how the training is going there.
Yeah, so our coach is Jeff Hoagland, and he's amazing. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt. He was in the UFC as well as Chase, who's currently in the UFC. He's at 145. Chase Hooper. And then I have Caitlin, who's my main training partner, who's also fighting at the Muckleshoot at 120 pounds. And we have actually 6 or 7 people fighting that night. So we have a great fight team going.
Awesome. And you, as you mentioned before, for those who don't know, your background is wrestling. Tell us a little bit about how you feel you've improved as a wrestler for mixed martial arts as well as jiu-jitsu striking.
Yeah, so my training has changed a lot. So every day now, 6 days a week, I train MMA every day. So I'm really able to go back to my wrestling roots, has been amazing, and I love that, as well as focusing on applying it to MMA. And then every day I also train jiu-jitsu well, 6 days a week, but so really just focusing on sharpening my skills, honing in on the little details, and just overall trying to evolve as a martial artist.
Oh, that's awesome. Are you the where are you landing on the fight card for this fight at Muckleshoot?
Gosh, I have no idea. I don't think we'll know officially until the night before, just to see who makes weight and everything. But
Okay,
yeah,
makes sense. What weight class you fighting at?
135.
135. Okay. Um, Tell us a little bit about like you see other women like Misha Tate and other mothers that compete. How does that inspire you to get back in there and just be competitive overall?
It's amazing. It's such a hard thing to go through. Your body's been through so much in the past year, and like you gained so much weight. Like for me, I was 205 pounds last year at this time. Right now, I'm like less than 145 about. So, it's a lot of weight, the mental load of being a mother, and because that always comes first now. So, but
Mhm.
it's amazing.
And you mentioned your injuries, your knee injury and your elbow injury. One of the, I think it was your knee was pretty horrific looking. I remember seeing a photo of it. You said you put a lot of work in the rehab. How does that feel? Are you confident in your joints and everything? Everything feels great.
Oh, absolutely. All my injuries were from training and fighting, so it's normal. It's the hurt business, so
Yeah,
to be expected. So I'm doing everything I can to be as strong as I can, and I've really, in the time I have not been competitive, I've been working on nutrition and other things so I can, benefit from that right now.
awesome. What's your current record right now?
I am at 2-2.
2-2. Okay. Um, so you win this fight, you go to 3-2. Do you have a timeline of maybe possibly turning professional, or is that still kind of, let's get back in the cage, compete, and then go from there?
Yeah, so I want to compete as much as possible. I plan on doing a jiu-jitsu tournament in a couple weeks and hopefully another fight in another month or two. I just want to get the ball rolling again, and then once the time's right and my coach feels like I'm ready, then, have that conversation.
Awesome. Uh, Tell us, I guess, what does inspire you to get back into the cage and compete? Like you talking about this journey, getting back from losing weight and just getting healthy. What inspires you to just kind of get in there?
I always have loved martial arts, even through all my injuries, rehab, all of that. I have so much passion for the sport itself. I I just want to compete, and I just really want to see how good I can be. That's something that drives me every day. I want to see how good I truly can be and compete with the best of them.
Absolutely. And Muckleshoot Casino, like I said, you're fighting Rose Fujinaka. Is this going to be streamed on any services or anything?
It's Rick Little. He's in charge of it, and if there is a link, I will post it and share it. But I'm not 100% sure if there is or not. So.
Okay. Well, what's the kind of atmosphere that Muckleshoot Casino provides to the fighters and the crowd and everything involved?
So I've never fought there before. This is only their fourth fight card there, I believe. So it's super new, but Excite Fight has been around for a long time. They've had a lot of UFC fighters come up on their cards. Like they're primarily in Spokane.
Okay.
That's where Juliana Pena came from, Michael Chiesa, and a bunch of other people as well. So.
I think Tate's from there too, right?
Yeah, yes, she is. Yeah.
Hey, that's yeah. That area has produced quite a group of fighters. Um, have you ever fought anywhere outside of like Washington, or have you ever traveled at all for?
Not for fighting, but for wrestling, I've competed all over the country. Vegas, all over the South, Tennessee, Georgia, Ohio, Pennsylvania. We went all over.
Okay. Well, what would you say, I guess, is the style for those who've never seen you compete in your four fights? How would you explain your style of fighting to someone who's never seen you fight before?
I'm definitely a wrestler. I want to kind of like Khabib. I want to take you down, control you, force you into bad position, and either get the submission or the TKO.
Get out of there nice and quick, no injuries, nothing.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Um, What are your goals right now? What are your long term goals, short term goals? Obviously, to win this fight. Do you have any goals within the fight that you want to complete and accomplish while you're in there against her?
Ideally, get the finish. That's what I'm going for. I just want to put all these years of hard work and just lay it all out there and get that finish. And so that's definitely my short term goal. Long term goal is just to reach my full potential. That's my main goal. I want to compete in a big organization and just test myself.
Awesome. And are you working right now, or because I know you are working right now?
I'm a stay at home mom right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
Do you have any sponsors or anything like that? Have you come across like anything like that?
So Team Reaper, they sponsored me for my last fight, and they continue to sponsor me today. So
Awesome. And as you know, being the fight game, almost you have to like brand yourself.
yes,
Is that something? I know some people look forward to it, some people don't look forward to it. Is that something like in your back of your head? You like, I have to do, knowing the sport. Tell us a little bit about how you go about that.
yeah, I think it's important to make yourself marketable in this business. That's what sells and makes sponsors interested, makes promotions interested. I want to be some marketable to anyone. That's the goal.
Awesome. Tell us something about you that nobody knows, but you like to share with the fans. Something that it could be anything related to anything. Doesn't have to be MMA related. Something about you nobody knows.
I, can it be something that not many people know?
Sure.
Okay, I can't think of what nobody knows, but I also enjoy pheasant hunting and I go salmon fishing every year.
Pheasant hunt, and salmon fishing.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about both of those.
So I have a black lab that I trained myself to become a bird dog, and we go out every weekend during the fall and try and get some birds.
That's pretty cool, though. How much time does it go into training a dog to do that?
It took a couple months for him to definitely get the hang of it, and then he loves it. So
That's awesome. And then tell us a little bit about the salmon fishing. I love fishing, but I've never fished for salmon before. I'm a big trout fisher. How
oh,
is that?
it is so much fun. They fight like hell.
Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah. What kind of line do you guys use?
Oh gosh. I can't think of it right now, but we go out on the Columbia. We go on a little trip. The I'll go with my boyfriend and my dad and my boyfriend's stepdad. We all go out on a boat and it's so much fun.
What's the heaviest fish you caught?
I caught some big ones this year. I'm gonna have to send you some pictures.
Yeah, I definitely want to see these.
Oh
I'll have
god.
to throw them in the article. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Probably gives you a good workout trying to haul one of those in.
Gosh, this such an arm workout and it's so much fun. I love being out there like what before it's sunlight, it's all dark and you see all the little boats out there and then you see the fish starting to bite and stuff and it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Is that like your way of like resetting the batteries, recharging everything, getting mentally refocused? Because we know mental toughness is a huge part of the sport. Is that kind of your avenue for that?
Absolutely. I love being out in nature and just the I have you have to be really focused on hunting and fishing. You have to
Hmm.
be present in the moment, so it's great for that.
That's awesome. And I assume when you go fishing, you guys are out on a boat out there for a day or so, or 2 days. Is that one of those like sleepovers?
It's about just one day for about like 8 hours.
Okay, cool. It's kind of like Captree out by us in New York. All right, and then hunting is that. I assume you have to get up real early for that to go find a good spot.
Yeah, we get up about like 6 a.m. and then we head out there, which isn't super early, but
Hmm.
a little bit early for a weekend.
Not too bad, but yeah, weekend, yeah. But you leave the phone behind and go out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, talking about the mental toughness, what do you believe that makes you mentally tougher than your opponents to oppose your will upon them?
Honestly, my years of wrestling with the boys too, and just, getting beat up for so long and then just still coming back time after time after time. I think that builds a lot of mental toughness and adds to your character.
Absolutely. And kind of going back to the pheasants, are you like a foodie type person, like someone who enjoys food? How would you
Yes.
cook one of those up if you're gonna cook it?
Um, I like to like fry it a little bit in butter, and then I make like a raspberry peach butter concoction with like brown sugar, and then I bake it for about like 30-40 minutes, and it's so good.
Sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty tasty. Do you have like a food you eat right after your fights or right after your weigh-ins? Something you're like, you know what, I want to enjoy. I could have it now. I fought. Is there something you go to?
Gosh, I definitely want crumble cookie after my fight. But before, like not really. Like my diet, I'm eating tons of food right now. Um, but it's just all good whole foods, which is really important. So
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Can you give us a prediction on how you think this fight's gonna go?
I'm thinking first round stoppage TKO.
TKO with
Yeah,
the foot,
TKO.
the hand. How you gonna do it?
Take her down, put her in a bad position. She can't get up.
Awesome. That's one of my favorite styles. Just hold someone down and beat
Hmm.
up on them. A huge wrestling fan here, so
Same.
awesome. Looking forward to it. Kayla, anyone you want to give a shout out to? Anyone you want to recognize?
Oh, there's so many people, but I would definitely my boyfriend. He's such a rock for me and support. It's just the two of us and her daughter out here. So every day he gets up at 3 o'clock. He goes to work until 4 o'clock. Then he comes straight to my gym at like 5:30 or 6, and he takes our daughter so I can train for until 7:30, 8 o'clock, which is amazing. So
And I spoke to him right before we hopped on here. He's a bodybuilder, so he's always training. What's it like seeing him compete as well?
it's amazing. His is a lot of diet, so he has to be extremely strict, which is great for me because it pushes me to be even more strict in my diet. So it's great that we can like push off each other, and we're both just grinding towards our goals, and our daughter gets to see it, and I think that's a really amazing thing.
Awesome, and I'm sure he's your biggest supporter as well.
Yeah.
Cheering you on as we got Mary Carroll here saying hi to you. Um, so, how does it feel to be inspiration for young girls looking to get into combat sports? Is that something you think about? Is it? Tell us a little bit about that and your process of it now.
Definitely, when I was growing up, even through high school and when I started competing, there wasn't a ton of women I was around that competed. Obviously, my old coach, Lisa Ellis, was my biggest role model. She still competes, but I want to just be an example of what you can do. If you believe in yourself, the sky is the limit.
Awesome, awesome, and we got another one with my nephew hopping on here. Hi, it's me, your Connor nephew. Giving him a little shout out. Kayla, any last words before we wrap this up and see you compete on March 11th?
Well, I want to thank you for, you. I think you've always followed me even through all my injuries, my birth, and thank you so much for having me on the podcast and giving me time to share a little bit about my story. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, it's been my pleasure. I'm looking forward to seeing you get back in there and competing. Um, last word before we go.
First round stoppage.
First round stop is awesome. Looking forward to it, Kayla. It's been an absolute pleasure as always, and looking forward to seeing you get in the cage on March 11th at Excite Fight in Muckleshoot Casino out in Washington. Uh, good luck. Best. Hope to put it to him.
Thank you so much.
This is Carol's Corner MMA podcast, and we're signing off.